In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 tips to stop stress. If you like what you hear, give the video an up thumb so that I know I'm on the right track. Okay, so stress is our body's way of adapting to changes in our environment. If you'd like to know more about how stress affects us, you can watch my video, How Stress Affects Us. But in essence, it's a helpful response, and it's one of the reasons that we are so successful as a species, because stress enables us to adapt to changes in our environment, which ultimately enables us to survive. So we don't want to get rid of stress completely, but we maybe want to have more control over it. Okay, so to do this, we need to start by understanding what changes stress from a helpful experience to an unhelpful experience. And this is basically when our minds get involved. And our minds kind of create an exaggerated sense of danger, so that extra stress hormones, adrenaline and cortisol, are pumped into our body. And those are the hormones that over time, if we have too many of them, causes problems for us. Okay, so the first tip to stop stress is about dealing with our minds. Now, the way that our minds kind of exaggerate the sense of danger is by doing 2 things. Firstly, by overestimating the horrible thing that's going to happen, or that we are predicting is going to happen, and then underestimating our ability to cope with it. So we need to deal with both of those thoughts to stop stress. Let's start with the overestimating disaster one. Now, this mostly happens when we muddle up possibility and probability. So most things are possible, but you've got to ask yourself the question, how likely is it? So get hold of that disaster that you're predicting, that horrible thing that you are thinking about, and think about, using your previous experience, how likely is it to happen? So how many times has it happened before in this situation versus how many times has it been okay? One of the most common things people worry about is job security. So I'm going to lose my job. So let's use that as an example. So I'm worrying I'm going to lose my job. So you need to ask yourself the question, how many times have I actually lost my job? Maybe it's never, maybe it's once. Let's say it's once. Okay, so in this situation, I've lost my job once, but many more times, things have kind of worked themselves out. That makes the probability or the likelihood of me losing my job in this situation reasonably low. I don't know, I'm not particularly good at maths, but let's say 0.05%. That is a low probability. And becoming aware of quite how unlikely the disaster is to occur signals to your brain, maybe there's not actually that much danger here, so we can release a little bit less of that stress hormone. Okay, so the second thought that we need to deal with, the second thought that's kind of turning stress from helpful to unhelpful, is that tendency to underestimate your ability to cope. To deal with that, you basically just need to make a plan. So this is the disaster that I'm facing. How would I deal with it? What personal resources do I have? Who have I got around me that I could call upon? And write your plan down and read it through. Because this again will signal to your brain, actually, there's not that much danger here because I've got a plan. And less of the stress hormone will be released into your bloodstream and you will feel less stressed. Okay, so the second tip is to try and get that part of your body that is releasing the stress hormone to switch itself off. So that is the sympathetic nervous system. So we need to find a way of switching off your sympathetic nervous system, which is also sometimes called your fight or flight system. One of the best ways, and this is backed up with research or by research, to switch off your sympathetic nervous system is by equalizing your breath. So making your in-breath the same length as your out-breath. So try that with me quickly now. So sit comfortably, Close your mouth, because actually breathing in and out through your nose is another good way of switching off your sympathetic nervous system. Just close your eyes for a minute and inhale through your nose for the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, and exhale. 1, 2, 3. And again, inhale. 1, 2, 3. And exhale. 1, 2, 3. Okay, open your eyes. Now, play around with that a bit. If you found that quite comfortable to do, maybe extend it to the count of 4 and maybe even 5. The length of your breath will very much be dependent upon how much deep breathing you do and how fit you are, but you can build it up. And a slightly longer in-breath and out-breath is going to work better or more quickly. It's going to switch off your sympathetic nervous system more quickly. Okay, so tip 3, this is an interesting one because it's surprising how instrumental we are in creating stressful environments for ourselves. We're all kind of pre-programmed or hardwired to create a familiar environment. For our ancestors, it had a survival advantage or a survival benefit because it was easier to stay safe in an environment that is familiar. Now, evolution is a very slow process, so we've kind of retained that tendency, even though it's kind of less relevant to the way that most of us live our lives. So to deal with this, you kind of need to become aware of it, aware of what you do, how you create a stressful environment for yourself. So maybe it is that you take on too much. Maybe you struggle to say no. Maybe you're kind of always a bit distracted, so you're running late. Or maybe you're making promises that in reality are almost impossible to keep. So once you've noticed what it is or worked out what it is that you do to create a stressful environment for yourself, monitor it over a period of time. See if you can notice any patterns. Who are you more likely to do that with? When are you more likely to do it? Because thinking about what we do in this way helps us to take a step back a little bit, and over time this helps us to consider or start to see even different options that are available, different ways of behaving that would create a less stressful environment for ourselves. Okay. I hope that that was helpful. If it was, give me an up thumb so that I know I'm heading in the right direction with these videos. And of course, please, I would love it if you could join my community by subscribing and of course hitting that notification bell so you don't miss anything good. Okay, but for now, thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day and hopefully I will see you really soon.